And we've got Las Vegas for the action. Hey guys, I'm Sebastian.
I'm Kristine.
We are Ninth Island Connection, your weekly lifestyle resource for all things Vegas. And we really want to welcome you guys to our first podcast. This is This Week in Vegas, the Ninth Island Connection podcast.
If you guys are not familiar with who we are, we actually created a television show a little over 5 years ago called Ninth Island Connection, where we feature Vegas businesses, events, entertainments, and activities all across the Las Vegas Valley. So in addition to our television show, we are Vegas locals. We live here, we love this city, and we spend a lot of time on the Strip. Actually, in 2024 alone, we spent 71 nights on the Strip, which I think about that, and that is absolutely crazy that we did that.
Well, and you know, we get a lot of feedback from people that say locals don't stay on the Strip because that's for tourists. And I have to tell you, maybe we haven't been here long enough to be considered local, but we moved to Vegas because we love it. We love the Strip, we love the energy, we love the vibe, the speed of the Strip, and so we stay there a lot. And really, that's why we moved here, because we want to be in the action.
Yep, and that's why we do what we do, because we love Vegas and we want to share Vegas with everyone.
We're sharing all things Vegas. So we're going to talk about weather, we're going to talk about that construction that's been happening over by New York on the Strip for what seems like 10 years. We're bringing you everything that you need to know before you get to Vegas for a convention, a vacation, a bachelor party, divorce party, wedding, whatever you're coming to town for, you will be in the know.
All right, so let's get to it. We're going to start off with some Vegas news. One thing that us locals are very happy about here in Vegas is that there's no more Formula One construction on the Strip. Woo! Thank goodness.
Well, you know, I'm kind of split with F1 because I understand the economics behind it. It creates a lot of local jobs. Folks are getting overtime. It's huge impact, and those local jobs, those dollars stay here in Vegas and really stimulate the economy. At the same time, we get to say that, but we don't work on the Strip, so we're not really directly impacted by the day-to-day that madness creates.
It does affect businesses on the Strip also that are kind of blocked by the construction and all that traffic. They lose business. So I think that as locals, we're happy to see that there's a fun event here, but we're also happy to see that mess off the Strip. It was so nice to be able to just drive down the Strip without traffic and to be able to see the Bellagio fountains without all that junk in front of it.
Really, Bellagio fountains, that's really the only feature on the Strip these days that you can just take in outside of a casino property. The pirate ship has been gone for many, many years. There's really nothing going on the Strip.
The volcano's gone.
The volcano, absolutely. There's really nothing going on other than Bellagio fountains that you can appreciate from the Strip or really across the street.
Yeah. All right, next up on the list is it's convention season here in Vegas. January and February are so popular for conventions. It's a little slower for tourism, so they bring in all of the conventions. And I mean, there's everything from concrete and guns to the adult film industry to high-tech CES. So I mean, it's just a real interesting mix of people coming into town, and you can kind of tell who's attending which convention when you're on the Strip.
Yeah, it's interesting because I guess like fall into winter, January, February timeframe, used to be at one time a slower period in Vegas, and I really feel like there's not a slow period. Once F1 came in, actually all the way back to Vegas Golden Knights, when the Vegas Golden Knights came to town, that filled the gap in what would be a slow period in Vegas. And then you throw F1 in, you roll right into Thanksgiving, Christmas, conventions, there's a marathon coming up in a few weeks. I mean, there's really no slow period anymore. And you're gonna see that actually reflected in the you're going to see that reflected in the room rates as well as traffic on the Strip, the airport wait times, rideshare. Really, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get anywhere.
Next up, we're moving on to the Rio. Now, if you guys don't know, the Rio has undergone an amazing transformation. I mean, they've revamped their dining, they've revamped the whole casino floor, the rooms. They are really trying to bring back the iconic property, and including the Voodoo Lounge. So the Voodoo Lounge was at Rio before. However, it was closed for quite some time, and they brought it back. It opened on January 17th.
And that's amazing. Like Kristine said, the transformation at Rio is absolutely tremendous. And they really brought back a Vegas icon, because back in the day, Rio was a place to be.
It was so much fun. The buffet.
Oh, the buffet. We would stay on the Strip and go there just for the seafood buffet.
Yeah, it used to be great.
The pool was the place to be, the nightlife. They had an indoor, like, Mardi Gras thing with people sliding from the across the ceiling in there. I mean, there was so much.
And then it became sad. It became very, very sad. And not anymore. Now they've really done a nice job over there and are just bringing people in for the different attractions like they used to.
It's great to see that. We're really, really excited for them. If you guys haven't been, pop in. Even if you're not staying there, just take a walk, take a look around. It's really worth it.
Yep, and the Voodoo Lounge is by where that terrifying zip line used to be. Remember? I don't know if any of you guys have gone on the zip line at the Rio. It was, I think, the Voodoo zip line. It was right up there by the Voodoo Lounge. The scariest thing I think I've ever done in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't think too many people are going to miss that. That was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
I'm just glad we survived that one. All right, next up on our news is the Black Eyed Peas unfortunately have canceled their residency. They were going to have a residency at Planet Hollywood, but for some unknown reason, unknown circumstances, they have decided to go ahead and cancel that and refund anybody who purchased tickets.
And that's why that's a great example for a bit of information that we always share. It doesn't matter what you're coming to town for, if it's an event, a concert, some sort of experience, always stay up to date, because in Vegas, things change daily. Concerts are canceled, concerts are announced every single day, so stay on top of that as you're coming up to the trip. We've seen people come to Vegas for different concerts that have been canceled while they were here in town, and they were notified via text message, already here.
People were in Allegiant Stadium for Ed Sheeran already, and the concert was canceled.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
So we always say have a backup plan. There were a lot of people that spent their entire budget for just that one concert. That was it. That's what they were coming to Vegas for. And they were kind of stuck with, what do we do now that we're here for a couple days before heading back? So always have a backup plan.
Yeah, and it's kind of not hard to do in Vegas. I mean, there's so much happening here. I think you can find something to do. All right, last up on our news, and this is also some sad news. Vegas Indoor Skydiving, which is a business here that has been open for 42 years, has closed its doors.
Yeah, which we got to experience it.
You got to experience it. I wasn't experiencing it.
Well, you experienced the wind. Because I don't know what type of a turbine they had in there, but that thing was like, I'm sure they probably use it on movies to simulate hurricanes. That thing was strong. And they've been in Vegas, like you said, over 40 years. I don't know that too many businesses last in Vegas for 42 years, for 20 years even. So that definitely says a lot about the experience, the service they provide, the customer service, that they were able to last in Vegas for so long.
All right, so as I said earlier, we do spend a lot of time on the Strip, and we recently just had our very first staycation of 2025. We stayed at Caesar's Palace, which we absolutely love.
So we stayed for like Kristine said, our first stay of the year, and it was kind of busy. Cold, and I think maybe because of the weather that impacted just what people were doing here in Vegas, because it really wasn't a time where you just kind of sit around outside. So it was kind of busy, but it was fun. Definitely some new things going on at Caesar's Palace also, if you haven't been there in a while. Actually, they renovated their valet lobby area over a year ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. It looks really nice.
It's absolutely beautiful. They did a phenomenal job there.
Yeah.
And then they recently opened Caspian's, which used to be Wayne Newton's spot back in the day at Caesar's Palace.
It's like Cleopatra's barge or something like that.
So Cleopatra's gone. I'm sure you guys seen many selfies outside of Cleopatra's barge when it was open.
Yeah, if you know,
that's
you know.
Gone. If you know, you know, absolutely. But that is no more, and they did a phenomenal job there as well. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yep, and they've added a few places to what is now, it used to be just a food hall, then it was the Forum Food Hall. Actually, I'm sorry, it used to be a food court, and then it became a food hall, and then Forum Food Hall, and now it is a celebrity food hall, because all of the restaurants in there have celebrity connections. You've got Buddy V's Pizzas there. You have Guy Fieri's Chicken Guy there. You have Bobby Flay's Bobby's Burgers is there. And then a couple of new places is the Mock Bar.
Mock Bar. They came from New York. They opened in New York first and really had a big following. They do have some big brands in there. If you're looking for quick grab and go, that's your thing. That's one of the things about Vegas. So you can come here, I don't know, however many times you come here, and you can eat 3 meals per day in different places.
sure.
Every single day that you're here, every visit that you're here, there's just so many dining options. So Vegas has low-key become a foodie destination.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. But we didn't eat in any of those places, though, so spoiler alert.
We have eaten Bobby's Burgers before.
Yeah.
We've eaten Buddy V's over at Harrah's before. Chicken Guy we've had before.
We just haven't tried the 2 newer ones, Mock Bar and Tortazo, I think it is called. Yeah.
Because those are fairly
Those are
new,
fairly
so
new.
we haven't been there yet.
Yeah, but we did enjoy Beijing Noodle 9. We love that place.
Yeah, that's always a go-to for us.
But we actually really weren't there to. We actually weren't there to go on an eating spree. Sometimes we actually do go to the Strip just to eat. We are actually there for a tier credit multiplier that Caesars was doing. They have a 10 for. If you're into gambling and rewards and earning tier credits and getting up your levels in the status system there, that's the good time to go is when they are doing the 10 times tier credit multipliers, which they were doing on the day that we were there, and they'll be doing and throughout the week.
Yeah, so reward cards are kind of tricky because some people they say, I don't gamble, so I never sign up for those cards. You should still sign up because you can get free stuff. And it does not impact how much you win or lose if you are gambling. That is false. But you get free things. You get perks like maybe free parking, which I don't think there's. Where can you park for free these days on the Las Vegas Strip?
I think Treasure Island. I think
Treasure
that's
Island is it?
Yeah. Everything else is, I think, paid. There's some like local, like they'll cover you for locals for like maybe like up to 3 hours.
Right.
But for the
if you're
most
coming
part,
in on vacation and you're renting a car, you can expect to pay for parking. So depending on the status that you are, you might get free parking, which $20 a day over 5 days, that definitely adds up. And you want to spend money on what you're coming to Vegas for, whether it's entertainment, dining, gambling. So you might as well save money where you can to help fund whatever it is that you're looking to spend most of your time doing.
For sure. But that's why we were there, because this guy loves to gamble, and I like the perks of the free rooms and, to be honest, the free drinks.
A wise man once said, it's not gambling if you know you're going to win. So we'll just leave it there.
Okay.
Now, and that's at Caesars. We're pretty loyal to Caesars just because we get the most stuff from them. MGM has a great program as well. This is not to say anything negative about MGM. We just get more stuff from Caesars. And I have plenty of friends that let us know that they get so much from MGM and they don't get anything from Caesars. So we fell into their algorithm at some point, and we get complimentary rooms and different things. You'll see that here on the podcast. We'll talk about that stuff as well. But whatever program you want to sign up for, just do it. Just sign up for it because you never know.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. We did not spend the whole time on the Strip gambling. We did check out the Bellagio Conservatory, which I always recommend to people. Always just pop in there, day or night. It's open 24/7. It's free, and it's just beautiful. Just to stroll through there. Sometimes they're busier than others, and it can get a little annoying when it's crowded. But it's just an amazing attraction. And currently, they're having the Lunar New Year, which it's the year of the snake. That's my year. I'm the year of the snake. There were actually more pandas in there. I was a little disappointed to only see one snake.
The pandas definitely took over your year.
They did, but pandas are way cuter than snakes, so I'm not too mad about that. But we did check that out, and it was beautiful as always. So if you're in town or if you're a local, definitely head on into Bellagio and check out the conservatory all year long. It's beautiful. They change it up 5 times a year, always a different theme, year after year, and it's just amazing.
And it's one of those things that I think we need to spend more time on. You mentioned it earlier. It's free.
Yeah,
doesn't cost anything. And there's not a lot of free stuff in Vegas these days. That conservatory is absolutely beautiful. The lobby in Bellagio also. I forget the name of the artist, but that did all of that glass that's in the lobby area.
Oh, it's beautiful, yeah.
So definitely worth taking a break from the casino if you're gambling, or just getting off the strip because of weather, whether it's too hot, too cold, and just take a walk through there. It's totally worth your time.
And Bellagio does have the tram that connects Bellagio to the shops at Crystal's, Aria, and Park MGM. So that's kind of a nice way to get around the strip without having to walk out in the cold like it is right now, or in the heat of the summer.
And it's free, guys. I can't say it enough. It's absolutely free.
Ooh, two
no
free
strings
things.
attached.
Two free things in Vegas.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All right, let's get into what you can expect if you're coming into Vegas this weekend, starting with the weather. It's our winter weather here, so it's definitely chilly.
Chilly. It's cold. Maybe she thinks it's chilly. I think it's cold. Maybe my blood is thinner. And you may be surprised at how cold it actually gets. We've had friends visit here during the winter, and they were absolutely in shock at how cold it was. We get winter here in Vegas. People forget that it's a desert climate, so it's not just the crazy heats in the summer, it's the cold, because we're in the middle of the desert, and I'm not a meteorologist, but the ground really can't just hold on to the heat. So the temperature plummets very quickly, and you can feel it if you're just in the sun and then step into the shade. You feel the temperature change immediately. So be prepared. Have a jacket, but be prepared to take that jacket off, because they crank up the heat.
They're hot. You're like, dress in layers, because you're going to be freezing and sweating and freezing and sweating, especially if you're walking all over the place. But it's, like Sebastian said, plummets is the perfect term to use for the weather, because even if it's like in the 50s or even in the 60s, if you're lucky in the day, it dips down into the 30s and even into the 20s during our winter here in the evenings. So it's quite the difference.
One thing I love about this time of year, though, is those daytime highs in the 50s. And full sun. It's perfect to check out some different parts of the Strip or Vegas that you wouldn't otherwise because of the heat. And that's like the Arts District. This is the perfect weather to just get out, walk around, explore the East Fremont area, the Container Park area. This is a great time of year to do those types of things.
And a lot of those patio places have heaters, so you're not going to be freezing your booties off out there. And this is what you can expect for the weather this weekend.
All right, guys, let's talk about entertainment, because Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. What we're going to cover are some of the larger entertainers that are coming through Vegas. This is in addition to everybody else that's already here. Colin Cloud over at Harrah's, that's an absolutely amazing show. Carrot Top's still doing his thing. Barry Manilow is in town. All of the regular performers are always here. Cirque du Soleil shows are still going on. This is in addition to that. So let's start with Styx at the Venetian. You want to start with that?
You can.
So first up, we have Styx over at the Venetian, January 31st and February 1st. We've got Tears for Fears, who I love. I just aged myself, but that's my childhood right there. They're going to be over at the Fontainebleau, which is another absolutely beautiful property.
It is a beautiful venue. I mean, it took long enough to build, so it should be, but it's great. And if you haven't been there, definitely go in and check it out. It's just a beautiful casino property, and they have some really awesome dining options over there.
It is really, it took them 10 years, so they had plenty of time to get it right.
Yes, and they did. They definitely did.
So Tears for Fears is going to be over there performing on the 31st and February 1st. You've got Yacht Rock, which I'm late to the game when it comes to Yacht Rock.
It's super popular.
Apparently this is like late 70s, early 80s, like I guess it was pop back in the day, that's made a comeback. And they're very popular. So you got some Yacht Rock featuring the Docksiders. That's going to be over at the 1923 Prohibition Bar at the Venetian, January 31st through the 1st. So you've got three awesome things happening right there. First of all, 1923 Prohibition Bar is an awesome venue, great cocktails, and has that speakeasy theme. So that's one experience. Now you're in the Venetian also, where you've got the gondolas, you've got the indoor water channels, the canals. That's what I'm looking for. The canals
and the Grand Canal shops. There you go.
That's why I married her. So you've got that going on, and then you've got this Yacht Rock thing that's happening too. So three different experiences really in one place. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like a great date night. Hint, hint.
Let's go. Stay tuned, guys. Let's see, we've got Mariah Carey. She's going to be over at the Dolby Live. That's inside of Park MGM, and I've got to tell you, of all of the venues that we've been to, in my opinion, Dolby Live is one of the best for music.
You feel it. You can feel the music, and there's not a bad seat in the house. I would see anyone I'd want to see them there if I could.
It's an awesome venue, so really don't worry about ticket prices because there's not a bad seat in the house. And it's not a very big theater, so that's going to be a lot of fun. She's going to be there the 31st and the 1st of February. Then we've got Shania Twain. She's been here for a minute.
Yeah.
Doing her thing over at the Back Theater. That used to be the Zappos Theater. That's another place. Not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah, I like that venue. She actually had a residency and then was gone for a while and then started up another residency, which I think these are like the final shows of this current residency.
The final shows before the encore final shows.
That's how it seems to go here.
Later on in the year.
But if you really want to see Shania Twain, you better get it on your calendars soon.
Yes, she's going to be there the 31st and February 1st. And then we've got Zayn Malik. Now, he was from
One Direction.
One Direction. I'm not familiar with him as a standalone artist, though.
Yeah. Your daughter would be.
My daughter would be. Yeah, absolutely. She's right in there. He's going to be over at the Cosmopolitan on February 1st. We've got Crash Test Dummies. That's from back in the day also, late 80s, early 90s. That's them right there, if you needed a reminder. And Stephen Page, that's over at the Westgate on the 1st. And I think the Westgate actually doesn't get the love that it should get.
It's a classic property, and it's just really nice in there. They have a lot of like high-class entertainment that comes through there. I mean, that's the home of Barry Manilow. I mean,
Barry Manilow.
Elvis performed there. I mean, that's how more classic Vegas can you get?
I think, doesn't Barry Manilow have a lifetime like contract or something there?
As long as he wants to perform there, he can perform there.
So
that's pretty cool.
And they've got great food there. I've never really won money there gambling, but my uncle got 2 hand pays in like an hour.
Yeah.
Playing slot machines. So try your luck, I guess. And it's connected by the monorail, so you don't have to walk down there. You can jump on the monorail and head on down to the Westgate if you wanted to check it out. Let's see, we've got U2. So U2 had a phenomenal run here in Vegas. They opened up the Sphere.
Yep, they were the first live concert at the Sphere.
They had a phenomenal run, and they've created another experience. This is U2's The U2 immersive concert film. That's showing at the Sphere February 3rd through the 27th.
Heads up on the Sphere though, you definitely want to allow time to get there early. It gets really busy. Rideshare can be kind of a mess to get picked up and dropped off there. So definitely allow time for that. And if you're planning to drive there and park, it is pretty expensive.
Yes. Everything she said. It's a mess. Plan your entire day around your event at the Sphere. Yeah. And let's see, we've got Nate Bargatze over at the Wynn. So that's going to be 2 shows that night, and from what we've experienced, when there's 2 shows in one night, the first show is an earlier show, tends to be a little bit less expensive and less crowded than the late show. So that's just a little inside tip right there for you guys. And again, that's going to be on February 1st.
Yeah, so that's what's going on this weekend here in Vegas. Of course, like Sebastian said, all of your other Vegas shows are happening. They are all worth checking out. We love going to the shows here in Vegas. And one of the shows that we recently went to was Awakening over at the Wynn. This is an awesome show. It has a storyline. It has just amazing technology, and I don't even know how you would even describe it. It's just so much is going on that I'm at a loss for words, which is
stimulating. It's like all of your senses are stimulated. The bass from the music, visually, it's just like everywhere. There's something going on. But that's how Cirque is, though.
It's not a Cirque show.
Disregard that. That's how Cirque is also, but this is not a Cirque show.
It's really cool. You have just all kinds of what are those things called? The puppety things?
Puppets.
I don't know.
I guess, I don't.
It's just from the dancing, they have a fire dancer, Nainoa George, who's actually originally his family's from Hawaii. He's a fire dancer, so they have a fire dancer in their show.
He's like a 3rd generation fire dancer. I mean, we got to give him some props on that one, because talk about credibility. He's a 3rd generation fire dancer, and his parents have like a luau entertainment
Sebastian
company thing.
Yeah.
So he came up doing this his entire life.
Yes, and you can tell he's amazing. He's really good at what he does, which is probably good considering he's handling fire.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for just a show that's just entertaining, if you're looking for a show that's just entertaining and just like a lot of things going on at once, definitely check out Awakening at the Wynn.
All right, guys, so there's a lot of music venues or entertainment venues and entertainers, and it's important to distinguish the two. And they all have different policies. So some places, like you might have a theater that is okay with bringing bags and cell phones and everything, but you might have an entertainer coming to that venue that says absolutely no cell phones, like you experienced with Bruno Mars.
Yes, and Dolby Live, you can bring in your cell phone, unless it's Bruno Mars. He locked up the phones and he sang about it, which, you know, I didn't mind. I like to be in the moment at concerts anyway. But things like that, purse sizes. I had to throw out a purse at Allegiant Stadium. I was kind of sad about that because they don't allow purses larger than a certain size into the venue. You can bring it back to your hotel room, which we saw a lot of people walking back when that happened. And they actually do have storage lockers, but it's just better to look into that ahead of time so you don't have to deal with all that extra hassle.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on this one. And this was the absolute first of 2025. This has been a goal for us for a couple years.
Yes.
And so we're excited that you guys are here with us on Hey Vegas, watching This Week in Vegas, the Ninth Island Connection podcast. If you're interested in watching our television show, you're already in the right place. We're right here on Hey Vegas. Find Ninth Island Connection. You can stream our television show right from your home. Tune in every single week for our podcast, This Week in Vegas, where we bring you an update on what you can expect that week in Vegas. And again, we're talking weather, construction, traffic, jackpots. We're talking about everything going on so that you can have the best possible time while you're here in Las Vegas.
And if you even want more Vegas, don't forget to follow us on social media. We